Hey everyone, Caitlin here from Caitlin Out Loud. I am going to be going through everything I packed for my Lone Star hiking trail hike that I did in December 2025. It is a 96.5 mile trail and it took me 5.5 days to complete it. So I have everything I need here. I did do a resupply box, which I'll talk about a little bit later, but I'm going to show you everything as it's packed. So I'm not going to divide everything up into sleep system, food and water, safety, those kinds of things. I'm just going to unpack the bag so you see everything that I have. So starting out, I have the Gregory Jade 63. I absolutely love this pack. It is not ultra light. It is a little over 4 pounds, which is very heavy for backpackers, but it's so comfortable. I've used it on multiple hiking trips and I really love this bag. So that's what I took because that's what I have. So to start here on the side, I always put my tent poles and my tent stakes. And then I keep my tent at the very bottom of the pack. So it is in here. I have the REI Half Dome 2 tent. And it fits perfectly right there in the bottom. If it does get really wet, like in the morning dew and stuff, I'll put inside what I can, whatever's not wet. And then here on the outside, there are additional straps where I can strap whatever wet materials I have to the bottom of the pack and then let them lay out to dry during the day. So on the other side, this other side, I usually keep my Smart water bottle, and I have the Seanock Outdoors. I think this is a 2-liter water bag in my Sawyer Squeeze. This is all I needed for the Lone Star Trail, was just this water bag and 1 Smart water bottle, although I did take 2 Smart water bottles just to be safe. In the brain of my backpack, I have things that I would just want to have access to throughout the day and just my random knickknacks. So I have my Shocks Open Run headphones, my Amazon Kindle. I definitely should not have taken this. I didn't use it at all, but I take it everywhere I go and I feel so weird when I don't have it. And it is pretty heavy, so that's another reason I shouldn't have taken it, but I did anyway. I have my first aid kit. Inside my first aid kit, I have Band-Aids, some tape, stomach medication, Neosporin, some moleskin, and antiseptic wipes, some itch cream, that kind of stuff. And then I have asthma, so I also had to take my Advair Discus just to make sure I was breathing okay. I keep this clip here. I usually have a rag that it's actually here, that I strap here. This is a super lightweight rag and it hangs over my shoulder. I can wipe off sweat, or if it's raining, keep my face dry, or whatever the case may be. And this is kind of a long one. So that's what it looks like. It has a lot of uses, but I definitely advise keeping something tied to you in case you need that. Also on the outside, I have my Kula cloth for bathroom breaks. Take that off. It clips right to these little things easily. And then at the front of the bag, I have a water bottle carrier. I keep my sunglasses. This is a cell phone case by Garage Grown Gear. And in here, I will keep my phone. This is a power bank and the phone charger. A lot of times I'll just keep it in there, plug it in, and then put my phone in this front pocket so that it's charging while I walk, but I still have access to it. So those are my front attachments. And then let's open her up. The inside of the brain, I have my rain gear. It wasn't supposed to rain while I was out there, but I took my Patagonia torrent shell just in case, a Nyla flume to put inside the bag in case it does rain. It didn't rain during my trip, but I had it just in case. This bag is not waterproof. But I also have the rain cover for the Gregory Jade that came with it. I always keep this in here just in case. All All right, on top, I took a sit pad with me. On previous hikes, this has been a lifesaver and I absolutely loved it. However, I did not need it on this hike because I also took my Outdoor Vitals foam pad, and this is for sleeping on, but I also used it as a sit pad most of the time, so I really didn't need both. They weighed practically nothing, so it wasn't a big deal, but nonetheless, I could have left one behind. Before we get into the main pouch, let's discuss what I keep on the outside. So for this trip, it was very cold, so I brought winter gloves, which I used during sleeping time. Well, it was only cold the first day, my apologies, but I definitely used those gloves when I was sleeping to keep warm. I keep a gallon-size Ziploc for all of my trash that accumulates from food and waste and everything else. Leave no trace, all that good stuff. And I keep my bathroom bag. So in this bag, I have my Nature EL trowel, UL, I don't know why I said EL, sorry. Some toilet paper. I take some doggy poo bags just in case the ground is too hard for me to trowel or I'm having a really difficult time digging a hole. If I have to go number 2 and I'm anywhere near a restroom or a trash can, I sometimes will use these instead of digging a hole. Inside here, I also keep a mini hand sanitizer, and because it doesn't weigh hardly anything, gloves, just in case something gets messy. I just keep them around. I also, throughout the day, put on the outside my lunch and any snacks that I'll be eating throughout the day so that they're easily accessible. One of my favorite things about this backpack is you can lay it down like this, open the side and go through all of your things. You do not have to just pull out the top, which has saved me a lot of time and I really enjoy that. However, when you put the Nylofoam in here, if it is raining, then you no longer have access this direction, but that is absolutely okay. Here's my sleeping bag. I have the Nemo Disco 30-degree bag. I absolutely love this bag. It's also not ultralight. It weighs a little bit more than necessary, but it works really well and I am very comfortable inside of it. I have a Thermarest Neo Air Max. This was actually an accident. I wanted to get the Neo Air, but I didn't want to get the Max, which is a 6-foot long sleeping pad, and I am only 5'2", so I really do not need the 6-foot, and the 6-foot touches the ends of my tent, which I don't love, but I paid good money for it, so I'm gonna keep it until I decide it's time to change out. I also have this FE Active sleeping bag liner that goes inside my sleeping bag. Again, not super necessary. There was one really cold night on this trip that actually got down to 32 degrees, so this probably did help a little bit, but more so it's just to keep my sleeping bag clean and give me an extra layer. When it's really hot, I will only sleep in this on top of my sleeping pad, so I like to keep it around. I have the Outdoor Vitals ultralight pillow. I know a pillow is a luxury item. This thing weighs hardly any, it's tiny for one, and it's also doesn't really weigh anything, so I like to take that with me. Since it was a little bit colder on this trip, I took these Nature Hike down booties to put on my feet at night just to make sure that I was staying warm. This was actually the first trip I took these on, and I love them. They're so comfortable, they're so cute. So I will be taking those on future hikes when it is cold. I have a little bag of clothes. I really didn't take much extra. And these bags, by the way, both the toilet bag and this one are dry bags that I just got from Walmart. I have no idea what brand they are. They're not branded, but I've had them forever and they work great. So I'm just gonna keep going with them. I took an extra pair of Darn Tough socks to sleep in, as well as a set of Cuddle Duds warm flannel or fleece for the nighttime because I knew that first night was going to get really, really cold. And that is all the extra clothes I packed. I did have, oh no, that's a lie. I also packed 2 pair of underwear in here as well. Next up for food, I took this Coleman propane mix. This one is 7.75 ounces. Very unnecessary to take one this big. I just had it at the house already, so I was like, let's just take it. I didn't want to go buy one of the smaller ones for this trip. For camp stove, I have the Toaks 750 milliliter pot, which weighs like nothing. This is a new item for my backpacking kit and I am obsessed. I absolutely love it. Inside I have a Jetboil spoon. This is the only utensil I take. It weighs practically nothing. It works really well for my Star-Kissed tuna packets as well as anything that I cook in my pot. I have camp suds, just a little bit of soap to clean my hands and my pot as necessary. Another ultralight towel. This one was mostly used for cleaning the inside of my pot, but it can obviously be versatile as if I need anything else. And then I have the MSR Pocket Rocket Deluxe. What I like about this is it has its own igniter, so I don't have to bring a lighter. I think I did bring one anyway, just to have, but I've never failed with this igniter that's already in there. I also took a Talenti plastic jar for oatmeal or whatever I was eating. Also not necessary because I can eat right out of here, but that allows me to make coffee and eat if I wanted to, which actually on this trip I didn't do. Next up is my miscellaneous bag. I keep everything in a Ziploc so it's waterproof, but I had my Apple Watch charger, which I highly do not advise taking an Apple Watch. This thing does not hold a charge. It didn't even make it through a whole day of hiking. I had to stop multiple times just to charge my watch so that I could record my hike. And actually 3 of the 5.5 days, I didn't even get to finish the day. It didn't record anything because it just died and I got sick of stopping to charge it. I took this Lumi full body deodorant this time. This is unscented, but it works as deodorant and anti-chafe. Again, luxury item. You don't need to take that if you don't want to. I chose to. I have this Z-Packs toothbrush, this ultralight toothbrush. It is super tiny, as you can see. Look at my hand, this is so small. But this is my first time taking this as well, and I absolutely love it. It weighs nothing, self-contained, easy peasy. I took these wilderness wipes from Sea to Summit. I really like taking wipes to clean off at the end of the night, especially my face because I am prone to acne. So that just helps me feel a little bit more fresh. You can buy these, they're kind of expensive if you buy the small pack. If you're looking to take wipes, just a pro tip, you can get like the unscented baby wipes and put them in a Ziploc bag. Just grab like 6 or 8 or however many you need. It will be much cheaper than buying something like this, but I had some on hand, so I brought them with me. I brought earplugs, just a little tiny thing of earplugs. Oh, here's the lighter for my fuel if I needed it. I have this tiny little Conair hairbrush, which works really great. I have a micro carabiner on here with some extra hair ties just in case. I have some thread lock patches just in case I need to repair something, my tent, a piece of gear, something like that. And then a new addition to my kit this year, I have the 1.2 ounce flex tail. This will blow up my air mattress, my pad, which saves me so much time. I also, that's another downfall of having the Max. I can't actually blow it up without this. So I definitely want to change that out at some point because having to rely on something that is battery powered in order to sleep comfortably is not the smartest plan, but that's what I was working with and it works great. Love it. That's what I did for this trip. Put some of this back. Let me make sure I told you all the things. Fuel, Talenti. Yep. Oh, I'm not going to show you the food that I took. Typically that will be in the base of my pack because all the heavy stuff should be there. But I take different food on every single trip that I go on. I will put something here on the screen where you can see I took a photo of all of this stuff I packed. So if you want to pause the video and check that out, go for it. Oh, I did forget something. So also I have 2 hip belt pockets on this pack. And in the left pocket is usually where I would keep my snacks. Because my right hand's there, I can grab them. But I also have my car key, my ID. I keep this USB. It allows me to transfer photos from my phone to this external so that I can free up space on my phone because I never have enough space on my phone. And then I also have this Swiss Army knife, which this is a new addition to my kit as well, and I absolutely love it. It has tweezers, scissors, nail clippers, a file, a knife obviously, and I think some other things. Oh, a toothpick. There's a bunch of things in here, and I used it a lot on this trip actually. I got some blisters that I actually had to cut open with the scissors. It's kind of gross, but they had to be popped. And I used the knife and scissors to cut some moleskin and other things to treat my blisters. So this was super valuable. In this pocket here, I have my Nightcore headlamp. This is a new addition as well. It worked great. I did 3 hours of night hiking on one of the nights, 3 straight hours, and I was super nervous because it was the first time I had used this and I didn't actually know how long the battery lasted. So I was just hoping for the best, and it lasted the whole time. It was fantastic. I keep some chapstick, another hand sanitizer. This is to use throughout the day, not just when I use the bathroom, but you should be staying clean as much as possible. I carry pepper spray. Again, not really necessary. I've never had to use it, but it gives me just a little sense of security. Usually at night is when I have it out. When I'm sleeping, I put it next to my head just in case I need to spray something. I don't have to worry about like animals, bears, or anything like that here in East Texas, especially during the winter time. There's not really any critters to be concerned about, but people. I am more scared of people out there than nature itself. And then I just keep a little thing of tissues because when you hike, for some reason, your nose runs, and that is a lesson I have learned. So that, I think, completes. Let's see. Yes. I did plant a resupply box halfway through. For this hike, I took a safe. I just have, I don't know, just like a sentry safe that I took. Usually at home I use it for documents and things like that, but I was like, hey, I have it. I'm gonna use it for this trail. I put an extra pair of underwear in there, a second t-shirt. This is actually the one that I had put in there. And then I packed in a bunch more food, obviously. That's what the resupply was mainly for. I also put in 2 Gatorades and a water and a secondary power bank. So the one that I showed you, which I've just created kind of a monster of a mess here, but I have 2 Anchor power banks, and I took both of them. They're both 20,000 milliamps, I think. One is a Anchor Power Core, and one of them is a newer Anchor Nano. They're both pretty heavy, but I have amazing experience working with Anchor in the past. All of their products have been really reliable, and even though they're a little bit heavy, I'm still going to take them on the future ones. I might switch up and go to a Nightcore at some point because of weight, but we're still sticking with Anchor for now. I took my tripod, which I'm recording on right now, so I don't have it to show you. Also unnecessary. I think I only used it one time. And the tripod that I have is a little bit bigger and a little bit heavier than I would suggest taking on a backpacking trip, but nonetheless, it's good to have. In terms of what I wore, well, let's start here. I have these Trail Buddy hiking poles. Hiking poles are not super necessary, but they saved my life while going over the river crossing, the San Jacinto, because the sand was super deep. So the water wasn't too bad, but every time I stepped down, I just sunk into the sand. So these kind of helped me climb my way through. Also, I'm just not young. I mean, I'm not old, but these help my knees, okay? So I take trekking poles whenever I can. And they're yellow, which it's kind of funny. If you know me, yellow is really not my color, but for some reason when I ordered these, and they're just off Amazon, they were like $25, but when I ordered them, there's like 16 colors and yellow was the cheapest. So I was like, we're getting yellow. I don't really care what color they are. For shoes, I have the Ultra Lone Peaks, the 9s. I also have Gaiters. I think these are just off Amazon as well. I don't know if there's a brand on here. I don't know how to say the brand, but I took Gaiters. You also don't really need those for this trail. I think I just kind of do it out of habit because I usually hike with Gaiters. And then here's my Lone Peaks. I absolutely love these shoes, but I don't think they're great for my body, which is unfortunate. I love the wide toe box, so but they are zero drop, which I have a little bit of trouble with. I do have super feet insoles, which help a little bit, but I have trouble with my Achilles when I wear these, so I really have to try to find something new, even though I absolutely love these. I did recently purchase a new pair. I haven't tried them out yet, so I'm gonna keep that to myself, but maybe in my next video you'll see that. As for clothes that I wore, I have this junk headband that I wore a lot of the time. I did wear darn tough socks. These are the thick or the mid-weight ones. I think I've decided I want to try the thinner ones for future hikes, even though I've always stuck with these, but my feet get pretty hot out here in Texas, and I think I can try the thinner ones next time. I just wore these basic Nike shorts. Interesting story about these shorts, well, not really these shorts specifically, but last time I attempted the trail, I had shorts that had kind of like a scrunchy waistband, and that dug into my hips so bad because my pack, when it would sink down a little bit, it would go right where the waistband was. So this time I switched it up. There is no string in here or anything like that, so it's not rubbing, which was a lifesaver this go around. I also have this Nike orange top, which, funny story, I took this because it's hunting season and I didn't have anything orange to wear, and you're supposed to wear orange, and I didn't want to go buy a vest, and this is the only thing I own that's orange, and it's also probably just like the second time I've worn this, and I absolutely love this shirt. I tried to figure out which one it is so I can buy like 10 more of them. Unfortunately, I don't know what it is, but if I can figure it out, that's an amazing t-shirt. I also have these Bayleaf pants, these hiking pants. I could do a whole video on these pants. I absolutely love them. I've had them for years. I've probably hiked over 300 miles in these pants. Not only are they super lightweight, they dry super fast, but they have so many pockets, which the front is fantastic. So we got deep side pockets for whatever you want, and then a pocket down here on like your thigh area, which I always put snacks in the morning. And then there's also a pocket on the rear, which I can't really use because of where my pack sits. And then there's reflectors on here, which is really nice, and cinch bottoms. So that is fantastic. I love these pants. I will take them on every hike that I can. They're also very affordable, so maybe I will do a whole video on these because I could talk about them forever. I took this CRZ yoga sports bra this time, which, sort of like the shorts, it was a live and learn. So last time I took a 2-strap sports bra, and there were little like metal clasps to make it, you know, higher or lower on your shoulders. That hurt. The clasps happened to be right where my backpack straps were, and it would dig into my shoulders, and it was just not a smart move. This one just has the Y back and no metal clasps at all, so that worked fantastic. I also wore the same one for a whole week, and it did not smell. It was not nasty. It was fantastic. I took this Columbia mid-layer jacket, sweater, I mean. This is another product I have had since probably high school. I love this sweater, and I can't find it anywhere else ever again. I've searched and searched and searched, but it's an omni-wick and it dries super fast. The side material here is super stretchy and it does not hold stink. So this is something that I've absolutely loved. It's warm. Actually, Columbia makes incredible products, especially for women's clothing. So if I could ever find this again, I absolutely would. If you happen to own this or anything that I've talked about that I'm looking for, please let me know because I would love to buy them again. I also took this yellow hat because, again, like I said, it was supposed to be pretty cold at first. When I took off, it was pretty cold. And being hunting season, my orange was under my sweater and under my jacket a lot of the time. So I'm like, oh, maybe this will help me be seen by hunters. But I only wore it for like 2 days because it got pretty warm. But I took my Patagonia hoodie puffer jacket with me. I just actually bought this recently and I am obsessed. I've worn this thing everywhere a million times, whether it's very, very cold or just slightly cold. This jacket is definitely worth the money. One thing I don't love about it is it doesn't have a pouch, like it doesn't fold down into itself very easy. So it just kind of goes in my bag like this if I ever have to put it in there, which isn't horrible, but it would be nice if it like tucked into its own pocket or something. Let's see. ID, sunglasses, phone storage. Yeah, that's everything on my list except for my Crocs. I do love a camp shoe. I actually took black Crocs. I have black ones that I take on all my I realized I have a lot of black stuff for my hiking gear, which is kind of silly because I am all colors all the time most of my life. But I took Crocs. I also wore them when I crossed the San Jacinto, which I don't know that I would highly advise that because they sucked into that mud that I was talking about earlier pretty bad, and I almost lost one of them. But they were fantastic to have at camp and in the mornings and stuff like that. I even almost considered changing into them when I got pretty bad blisters on one of my feet. I was like, oh my gosh, the shoe is killing me. Maybe I'll put on my Croc, test it out. I didn't end up doing that, but it's nice to have another option with you just in case. I know a lot of people forego camp shoes, but that was something that I really wanted, and I don't ever camp without my Crocs. So that is everything that I took on my Lone Star Trail. Like I said, I did start, the first night was very cold. I started on December 30th. It got down to 32 degrees, so I did need the winter gear. I did need the warmer stuff for night, the gloves, things like that. But it got warmer throughout the rest of my hike, so when I made it to my resupply box, all of my stuff that was winter gear, I actually put into the resupply box so that I didn't have to carry it with me anymore. And that worked out amazing. I did not have a resupply box my first time around, and I think that was a major fail for me. So if you're doing the Lone Star Trail and you have the opportunity to lay a resupply box, I put mine at 4-notch, and that was a perfect place. I think one resupply was fantastic. That's all I needed. The rest of my hike all the way back to my car, which I had parked my car at Trailhead 15, the very last one, and then a friend drove me to Trailhead 1 and dropped me off. So I didn't have to get a shuttle, but there are shuttle services available if that's something that you need. All right, well, thank you for watching. This is everything that I brought on my trip. I love gear videos. Every time I go on a hike, I watch other people's gear videos. So hopefully this can help you to decide what to bring during this season or this time of the year. I would definitely pack for both warm and cold because it could be either way. It was 80 degrees one day and it was 32 one night, so just be prepared. Other than that, see you next time.